morning everybody, welcome to Craft Your Stash at Crafters TV. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sheila. I joined the team on the 1st of July, so all this is very exciting for me. I hope it's exciting for you as well. Do get some comments in while you're watching today. We are going to be making something. The idea came to me after I was asked to use one of the embossing folders. So we're going to be using one of the 3D embossing folders, which I'll show you in a second. And the inspiration for the project came from the actual embossing folder. So all these thoughts have been going around in my head for a couple of days and like, right, how can we do this? How can we do this? So fingers crossed it will work, because I'm going to do it as I think it will work. So if you want to add anything, any tips or ideas that I could get from you, because everybody as a crafter has got loads of tips and ideas, so it's always good for you to comment on things and go, oh Sheila, I wouldn't have done it that way, I would have done it this way. So anyway, so we've got some people joining. We've got, let me put my glasses on because I can't see. We've got Rachel, hello Rachel, and we've also got Stephen, he's waving as well, so morning Stephen. And I can see there are people typing all the time. So, and I've got Sam in my ear who is going to keep filling me in on time, and he's also going to be telling me if there's any other messages coming through. So what we're going to do, if there's anything I miss saying, Sam, please prompt me, because I'm thinking, I'm listening, I'm reading, I'm going to be crafting as well. So yeah, so it's like, I mean, I know that we can multitask very well, but anyway, we'll see. So please write in as well and let us know. Oh, we've got Bianca now as well from Florida. Well, what time will it be in Florida? Is that 5 hours behind? Is that like something ridiculous, like 5 o'clock in the morning, or? Yeah, that's, and Geraldine also as well joining us, so good morning to you. Hopefully we'll have a fun hour. We're going to be using a mixture of things, and I think as we kind of get towards the end of the project, if we've got any time, we'll do a couple of little tips and ideas on things you can do with the embossing folder. If you've got this one, this is, as you can see, this is the 3D embossing folder, and this will also link, I think we chose this because this will link to this afternoon's masterclass at 2 till 4 with myself, where we're going to have some bundles of embossing folders, and we're going to be doing some different techniques and showing different ways you could use those as well that you may not have thought of yourselves. But anything you want to say or anything you want to tell us, or let us know what the weather's like where you are, because it's boiling here. We've got Sue there who says good morning, and we've also got Rebecca and Louise. So lovely to see you all, and that fills me with hope and comfort that you are joining me and I'm not on my own. Okay, Kirsty from, which is your neck of the woods, Sam? Oh, okay, so you're from Farnaby, is that? Okay. Yeah, I do know of a few areas up in this side of the country, because you know, we had family from there, so yeah, and we used to come up to Appleby, to the caravan. So yes, so anyway, let's get on, because some of you might be going, oh hurry up Sheila, get on, show us what you're going to make. So when I actually emboss this folder and when I sew it, I don't crochet, I do a lot of knitting, but there's always something lovely about crochet. And when I actually saw the embossing folder and I just, you know, embossed it, I thought, you know, it's like a granny square. So if I just show you this one, because I was just messing with this one. This is not finished by any means. I was up at the house last night and I was cutting using some dies and things. So you can see that's just got like a layered effect. But it's just like a granny square. And I think everyone that begins to crochet does a granny square. And I think once you've cracked the way to do it and it's actually square, that's when you get really good and you start to make bags and things, shoulder bags with granny squares, blankets, cushions, etc. So I thought what we'd do is we would try and make a box. So I'm going to show you exactly right from the beginning. I'm going to actually bring in and just show you what I drew in my notebook, because I think this is a good little tip for any of you that might be new to crafting, or that might be, you know, an experienced or advanced crafter. A notebook is vital. You can scribble all your drawings in. It's a bit like you used to have a diary when you were a teenager. no one could look in it. And sometimes it had a lock on it. But this is like my one of my notebooks that I would not really want anyone to look in. But I wanted to show you my picture here, which shows almost like a box. And this is what I wanted to create. So I was working out, no measurements, I was just drawing. I need tabs here for taping and tabs for gluing. I might put a handle on as well. So that is my, that was how I started to kind of put this together. Now then, talking about that, here is one of my, and I'll just show you this because I think everybody definitely needs one of these. If you've not got one, do one now. I know we'll all take pictures of our, you know, our projects and things we make, but what's really good is if you put them, if you draw them in a book and write down what you used. So this is absolutely full. This is, you know, constructed over years and years. There's hardly any pages left in it. I've got all sorts of things written in here, demo dates and everything, but I used to, that's how I used to prep for a demo. So yeah, draw everything that you do. And also if you do that, you've got that layout then for the rest of your crafting days and you're not clogging up your phone with all your photographs. Okay, so what we're going to do, first of all, I actually embossed the folder and I did it on textured card and then I've sanded it a little bit. And you'll see that it's got like a, almost like a stitched edge like crochet would be. So I've actually cut around there as well. I didn't want it to be kind of, you know, really very square and symmetrical. So I've cut the ends off so it's a little bit more kind of tactile and textile-y looking. So what I did was I actually got some card and I'm using craft card for the base because this is really strong. So I kind of measured out where I wanted it to be. And then also we're going to bring in a layer of green as well, which is going to go behind. So, and we hopefully will end up with a four-sided box that you could store things in, but it will just be have a big granny square on each side. So that's the idea. So for two of the sides you'll need, hello, I'm not sure if I've just said hello to Rebecca. I don't think I have. Rebecca says she's been on an early morning walk along the canal this morning. It was very beautiful. I bet it was. My sister lives on one of my sisters lives on a canal boat in the north of England, yeah, so they're currently cruising somewhere. However, the canals are very low at the moment because we've had no rain, so they're stuck where they are for a while. So, but yeah, so the joys of being on the canal boat. But yeah, I bet it was beautiful. And also we've got Leslie saying, enjoying your shows, and it's really sunny here in Burnley. Oh, well, I'll not be far from Burnley when I go home tomorrow because I'm from Wigan, so which she'll be able to tell with my accent. Anyway, let's get on. So we've got our two sides here and we've got two sides here. Now, what we needed to do was put tabs on. So I think you need to have one side that's got tabs on, sorry, two that have got tabs on and two that haven't, so that when we put them together and tape them together, we've got one tab that will hold the other side on. So I'll give you the measurements. The measurement here is 17 centimetres, and then down the side it's 16 centimetres. So you need two of those, and we're going to score in down each side. I've already done it on this one. We're going to score in a centimetre down each side and a centimetre at the bottom. Same with this one. And then, because we will have our tabs on there then, we bring in our other two sides. And this will measure, again, 16 centimetres down, because they need to be the right height, and 15 centimetres across, because this is just going to have a score at the bottom, no tabs on the side. So I'm sure that will make sense. Now, we're going to need to put a base on as well, but I'm not going to do that until I've actually done the sides, because what I need to do is I want to measure it so that it fits. I don't want it to be kind of... you know, cut it straight away and then put it on and go, oh, it doesn't fit. So I think we'll do that at the end once we've done all these little bits. So before we do those, let's show you, oh gosh, I'm going to have to go and grab my card in a minute, don't worry. What we'll do here is I will just grab my yellow piece and let's emboss this. Now, I've done it to measure the same size as the embossing folder. I know when Debbie was on the other day, Debbie was saying that she sometimes cuts it smaller than the embossing folder so that you don't get this white bit around the edge, or the, you know, if you're cutting it in white, obviously, or embossing it in white, you don't get the edge on there. But that doesn't matter for me with this, because I'm going to trim it down anyway. So we're going to put the textured card in there, and the embossing folder actually measures 5.5 inches. So put that on there like that, and you can see it's 5.5. So what we're going to do, we're going to do it through the Gemini MIDI, because this is just like the simplest thing ever. Because all you need to do, because it's a 3D embossing folder, is just put it through the MIDI like that, and it just does it. You don't have to do anything else at all. How easy is that? No panicking about plates and things like that. Now then, what you can see now is you can see that because we've got the textured card here, it's actually taken a little bit of it's pushed it so hard that some of the white core is coming through. Now you might want to have the embossed side, you might want to have the debossed side. So it's entirely up to you. So we'll just pop the folder there. And then what we want to do now then, so I'm going to give it a little bit of a sand. So I'm not going too hard because I don't want it to be completely white, but I just want to actually take off some of the top side of the texture there, the textured cards. And then, so bring some of that white through. It's not like white, it's kind of just, it's very subtle. And so let's just make sure there's a little bit on each of the crochet. No, these stitches. I think we've got single crochet, doubles, trebles. Do any of you, let us know if any of you actually do crochet, or if you knit, anything with yarn or wool. Now, I'm just going to blow that. We do have a cloth for that, but in fact, I'm just going to take a little bit of the edge off as well. So let's do that. But you can imagine if you did this on pearlescent card, if you did it on just plain card and then ink it, you can ink your embossing folders, obviously, and get a really lovely effect. But I just wanted to do that, because when you do that, then it almost gives it the look that you've actually used some of the, what do they call the wool? It's like multicoloured. It's got like a little fleck in it, or it's, I can't even remember. And I've been knitting since I was 6, but I can't remember what it's called. So, you know, you get different colours on there. Someone will tell me. It is early, so, you know, I've not got my knitting head on today. I got my paper craft head on, so. So we're going to go all around the edge and just follow the lines, so that then it makes it look like it has been crocheted, and you've got that lovely edge on there. And then once we've done that, we will have 4 squares then, because I already did 3. I didn't want to have to do all 4 and then cut them out, because it's a little bit time consuming when you're cutting them, and everybody knows how to cut. So but I did think, if we finish the box and we get time, we've got a bit of time left at the end, wouldn't it be amazing to make it like real crochet and actually cut those panels out that you can see here that have not got any crochet in, and then put that onto the side of a box or on your card with another colour underneath? I think it'd be really lovely. So hopefully we won't, we might get time to do that. So we've got 4 pieces now, and we've got 4 layers here. So the layers I've cut are just slightly bigger than the square. I think they might actually be 5, yep, they're just over 5.5. Because the embossing folder is 5.5, but the embossed bit is probably, I would say, about 5.25. Yeah, 5.25. Okay, so let's grab these panels now, and I'm going to do a little bit of scoring. So get my scoreboard out. And now, does anybody do that thing where they measure in centimetres, but you also measure in inches as well? Because I do measuring. Sometimes I'll say, if I'm measuring something, I'll be like, variegated. That's it, Rachel. Thank you. I'll just go back and look at these comments, and then we can at least try and mention everybody if we can, because it's always nice to mention everybody, seeing you've taken the time to message in, which is lovely. What was I saying then, Sam? I don't know. I've gone off track. It'll come back to me in a minute. Okay, let's mention all these lovely people because there's some useful comments here. Hello, Sheila from Indiana. It's 5 a.m. and it's 84 degrees. Centimetres and inches. Thank you, Sam. We'll come back to that in a minute. That's ridiculous. I've actually been to Indiana. I went in 1982 and I went to Elkhart, which was, it was about 6 foot deep in snow, as I recall. And we all had to wear, well, we didn't have to, but we all chose to buy snow boots. You know, and we used to wear, those were big in the 80s, so we all got these big chunky snow boots. We went as part of a trip, an exchange trip with the band. So yeah, we had much joy in Elkhart in 1982. I was about 15 then, I think. So hello, Tammy, and thanks for letting us know how hot it is there at 5 a.m. Kirsty says she's got a crafting journal, but she keeps forgetting to use it. Andrea says, good morning, Sheila. I love that crochet pattern embossing folder. I'm so happy you're using it this morning. Rachel also says she used to crochet, but she has a real struggle to match things up and keeping track of the stitches. And Sue says she's been crocheting and knitting all her life. I just cannot crochet. I've tried, but what I end up doing, as you'll know if you're a knitter, you start to crochet. What I start to do is I start to crochet, and then I find I get to the end and I've got like 25 stitches on because I've carried on and casted on like you do when you're knitting. So it's just not for me, crochet. But Alexandra says she's a knitter and cross stitcher, and 2 of her girls go to a crochet club. She can do very basic crochet. Rebecca doesn't do either, but I've just started with I-cord. Oh, we must talk about that as well, because that's another thing. So Sue says she uses both centimetres and inches. So what I'll do sometimes, and this is I think comes from knitting, I'll kind of go, okay, we're going to score, no, we don't need to score that side. We mustn't do that wrong. So we need to score just the bottom of this. So let me make sure that's the right one. So we're going to score this at 1/2 inch. But as you'll see, and I've just done exactly that there, I've scored at 1/2 inch when I should have done it at 1 centimetre. So, but I've only done a faint line, so let's go down there. And that's the thing, you see, I've got the inches board on one side, but I've told you the measurements in centimetres. So, yeah, I'm glad it's not just me, though, that does that. Right, okay, so let's bring in the other piece now. Oh, Sam, am I all right to nip round to the front to grab my piece that just shot off the desk? Is that all right? I'll be back in 1 second. I'll keep talking, but it just flew onto the floor. Oh gosh, that's the first blooper of the day, isn't it? Anyway, would have been funny if I'd come back in another outfit, wouldn't it? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to score this one. This is the one that's going to have the tabs on the side, so we're going to go down at 1 centimetre. Now this is craft card, so it's fairly tough. So I'll probably just do a couple of score lines down there. I've already done the other one, but I might just need to run over that again. And then we will go 1/2 inch there. Sorry, 1 centimetre, which is, you know, it depends which you work in, but they're both kind of, there's not that much difference, but there is a slight difference. So, but anyway, we'll be fine. So what we're going to do then, we need to cut some little tabs as well so that we can fold these in and they'll sit nicely when we attach our sides together. So I think we'll do the sides first. And this is probably the trickiest bit. Okay, so let's pop that there. And then we can fold these over. I'm just going to grab my little bone folder here so I can do these. I prefer to just burnish these with my proper folder like that. And then I'm going to open it out and I'm going to cut some little tabs into there. So, oh gosh, we've still got more people coming on, and it's a ridiculous time, and it's like the middle of the night. Good morning all. And this is from, now I'm not sure how we pronounce this. Would it be Sarah, Kara? I'm not sure, I apologise. But she is in Illinois. She does crochet, she does knit, and it's 4:15 in the morning in Illinois. Get back to bed, what are you doing? Okay, so what we're going to do, really simple, cut that corner off there. And if you want to measure it, you can do. Let's do it so it's a little bit more professional, I suppose, in a way, when I'm trying to teach you how to do it. And then we can just snip across there like that. It's not going to be seen anyway, it's going to be all tucked underneath. So that will be one side, and that will join onto this side. So this is the side with no tabs. So you'll have a side with tabs, a side with no tabs, a side with tabs, and a side with no tabs, like that. So that would then create your first side. So let's get some red tape on there. Now, if you want to do it with glue, you can, but we're going to use some of the red liner tape. Now then, this is perfect because someone has already cut it at an angle, so we can use that angle to just pop that onto there. Now, I'm using a thinner tape here. I could have used a wider one. If you are going to use a thinner tape that's not quite as thick as your tab is, as long as you've got it up to the folded edge, that's where you need it most, because that is where it joins onto the other side. So that's where it's important. And this is quite good. I do like doing this. I like putting tape on like this because when you cut at an angle at one end, then you have, usually when you're doing a box, you have a straight edge at the other end. So when we cut this off now at the angle there, then we've got another angle here now. So this is, it's the simplest thing, but I just love the way it works. So then we can pop that one there, and it's like, it's really easy to do. So let's do that. And then we've got another one of these to do. So we've got that one there, and we've got that one there. And then what we've got is this one, which we scored first. Well, I'd already scored this one at home. Well, I say home. Keep calling it home. It's not my home. It's the house down the road where we stay when we're up here. But I suppose I could call it my crafter's home, couldn't I? My northeast home for when I'm here. Okay, so again, do the same thing. We're going to chop, as long as you don't, you leave this intact here. And what's the worst that can happen? You know, you can do it wrong, and then you can just do it again. There we go. So we've got 4 pieces there. They're probably all different sizes, but that doesn't matter. So let's do these as well. So again, let's find the end that's got the angle on there, and so we'll pop that one onto this one here. And have we got anyone else joining that I haven't? Oh, Christine, dear Christine. Oh my goodness. Hi Sheila, lovely to see you. I've watched you for years. You're a very talented lady. Best wishes from sunny Scotland. Now, I'm not sure, Christine, I mean, there's lots of people with the same name, aren't there, in the world? But there used to be Christine that used to come to my craft club in Wigan. So could it be the same Christine, or is it not? But I've watched you for years. No, it must be a different one. But I do have another lady that used to come to my craft club who was also called Christine Duffy, and I haven't seen her for years. But thank you everyone for joining. That makes me feel very happy, because I'm new and I was worried, a little bit worried that, you know, there might be no one there. Right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to start to put this together. So let's get the first piece of the red tape off. Right, and so this is going to go onto here. So I think the important thing is here is just to get that lined up as best we can. Like that. Yep, press that down. And then what we can do, we can actually do, we're doing the same again if you like. So we're going to pop that on there, and then if you want to, you can do it with these two first and then join them all together. We might as well do it. We've got a big mat. Let's just keep going and pop this section on here as well. So, pokey tool. And then, there we go. So, well, this is all looking okay so far. Because I haven't made this. This was just a plan. I thought, okay, let's do it, you know, from the right from the beginning without even trying it, because this is what you do when you craft. I know that this is how people, you know, engineers do things, isn't it? They, you know, they have a plan, they have a thought in their head, and they then, you know, draw pictures, but probably not in a notepad. They probably do it on a computer these days, but notepad all the way for me, I'm afraid. We didn't, let's see, I didn't cut the ends off that one, did I? In fact, let's just see how it is when we turn it over. Might actually keep those. So I've not cut the ends off here, off these tabs, so I think we'll keep those as they are. I think it's just going to give us a bit of extra support. If you want to cut them off, you can, but we're going to put a base on there, and then I think we're also going to put a panel inside as well. So we've got double strength at the bottom, because you might want to store something in it. So let's attach this then. And hopefully, you know what else this could be used for? If you adapted it, so you could put a top on. You know when you get those cube boxes of tissues, you could use it as a cover for that. So you could put your, you know, if you've got a craft room and you do crochet and stuff, you could make a tissue box cover using this with your crochet embossing folder. Okay, let's pop that on there. Oh, let me have a look. No, she's not. It will be, yeah. No, Sheila, I'm not the lady who came to your craft club. It will be a bit of a journey from Glasgow to Wigan. It would. But I would be highly honoured if you did that, because that would be a journey, wouldn't it? Can you imagine every Monday night, like 6 till 9, leaving at like, what time would you have to leave to get to Wigan? Probably some ridiculous time. Oh, I left a bit of tape on there. But yeah, it's, well, thank you for getting back to us, Christine. So now I know 2 Christine Duffys, which is, I mean, how many people can say that? Both who are crafters as well. So that's pretty okay. I think we'll be able to manage it, and it's actually bigger than I thought it was. You know, you could fit a great big like melon in there, couldn't you? You could fit a lovely big honeydew melon in there, or you might even get a watermelon in. Right. So what we're going to do now, so you can see it's quite neat inside. I can't really do anything with this at the moment because it's got all the measurements in. So this would just stay as a template for me. So what you can do here now, because we've left those corners on these 2 sides, that'll just give us a little bit more stability at the ends, I think. So now I'm going to have to cut that angled bit off there, because I don't want it to be angled. I'll just pop that on the end there, and then okay. So we'll pop tape on here. Doesn't matter whether we actually put it right to the end or not, because it's actually going to stick either underneath or on top, because we've got tape on the other pieces. So let's do that. All right, so let's go. I think this would be actually lovely done in white, you know, as well, just all white. There we are. Right, okay. So we can do it now so that sticks on there, or we can do it so they go on there. So I think I'm going to do it that way, but we can leave that for a minute because we need to cut a base. So what I'm going to do, there's a couple of ways of doing this as well. So we can measure it on the mat, so we can look at what the size is now. And I think it's going to be about, yeah, it's bang on 6 by 6 inches. So we could cut a piece. So let me bring in the little guillotine here, and we'll cut a piece of craft card there. Just make sure that doesn't fall down. So we're going to cut that to 6 by 6. I might just cut it. No, I will cut it exactly to 6 by 6, and then what we'll do, we can check it obviously before we stick it on. Like that, and get right up to 6 there, and down. And then before I move the guillotine, let's just bring that in. Right, I might just trim a little fraction off that. Not very much, but just I don't want any overhang. I'd rather it be a little bit further tucked in. So we're just taking just a tiny little bit off the end. It's probably only like 1 millimetre or 2, maybe 2 millimetres. But we'll try it again now. Let's just move that to there, and then bring that back in and try it. So let's see. think I could probably get away with a bit more off there. I'll try it on the other sides. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to just take another little bit off. So it would measure probably, let's see now. Now, if we're doing it in, actually, if you're doing it in centimetres, 15 centimetres would probably be good. If you're doing it in inches, it's going to be 5 and 15/16. Does that sound like it? That's a measurement, isn't it? Or would it be? Yeah, it must be, because it's, if I was doing it in eighths, it would be 5 and 7/8. But we need it bigger than that, so it will be. Oh, I don't know. There's probably a way of doing it. It will be. I'm not good at fractions, honestly. I'm totally terrible at maths, so we'll see. But I think that should work now. I feel happier with that. And now this is going to be a little bit trickier, so I would say do it slowly and just do a little bit at a time. So take off this one first, one of the straight edges, I think, because that is going to tuck underneath where we've got that little V on the end, little corner piece. So let me just get that separated. That doesn't want to come off. Okay, let me try from this end. There we go. I've got that end off there. So let's pull that. I think I'm fighting against the fan here. I've got a big fan above me here, so when I'm pulling the tape, it's pushing it back. So there we go. So let's pop that down there then, like that. And that will just catch on there. And then the same at this end. And once we put it all together, it will just bond. So get this bit of tape off here. Oh, it's stuck all over the phone now. It's just, it goes everywhere, doesn't it? Red tape back in it, just so we can pop that there like that. And now I can squeeze that down. It might just catch the end there. Perfect, like that. So that should be good square now. So now then, on this bit, because I'm using red tape, you know, red tape, once it's got something attached to it, it's not letting go, usually, like it just did there with my skin. So we're going to have that there, and then we'll take the opposite end off here, so that we can just connect that together. Okay. And then once we've got this, I did say this was like the trickiest part, because once you've got the embossed panels, they're easy to put on, so they're going to be quick to put on. I'm going to have to go this side. There we go. Got it. I didn't mean to take that right off, so I'm going to just pop that back on for a minute. If you do it halfway along, so that you can stick it down to two corners. In fact, what I might do, no, we'll go with that. So you could do it so that one strip came off at that end and one at that, so you've got a bit of adjustment, but I think we'll be fine. Worst case scenario, might need to trim a little bit off, but we can actually pop a bit of that, tape that down. So this is, because you've not got a bottom on there yet, don't press it down too firmly, because we're going to have to square it up like that, and then you can take those off like that. And this always happens as well, doesn't it? That bit of tape goes back inside. You're like, where have you gone? Okay, let me just grab that again. I've not pressed it down, luckily, so there we go. Fabulous. So we've got a pretty good cube there, but can you imagine that? If you did it, you might have to do it a bit smaller for a tissue cover, but you could die cut a hole in the centre to put your, so you can get your tissues out. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to get these sides on. So let's get all that red tape. You could use it as a bin, actually, you know, as well in your craft room for all that red tape that just doesn't behave. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to pop these green panels. So we've got green panel for each side, and again, I've used textured card, and I thought I would go with, you know, textured card because it's quite nice, and I would go with green because it would brighten it up. Now, if you want to, you could actually trim the ends off so they're rounded. I might think about that. So what we'll do, while I'm thinking about that, we'll actually glue these two together. Or should we do it on pads? Right, let's do that. Let's do it on pads. Oh, Sam's saying do it on pads. Do it on pads. Okay, so what we'll do is let's glue these on. Let's glue these on. Otherwise, I'll end up running out of time, won't I? And there was a couple of other little things that we wanted to do on this, so it makes it a bit more of a fun basket. So I'm just using a bit of my tacky glue here. I am a bit of a tacky glue fan. I always have been. I might use my bigger bottle actually, but anyway, it's okay. So let's pop that onto there, like that. Okay. I might actually, I'm just going to turn it because it might be better that way. You know, it doesn't matter when you cut things. No, I think it's the same because I did do right measurements. That's okay. That's okay. So let's do the green ones first and then we'll put the red ones on. And so the red ones, that's the red tape that's driving me crazy. We'll do the crochet panels in one go as well. So let's pop that one onto there, like that. And the good thing is as well, because you can get your hand inside there, you can make sure that it doesn't like it because of the fan up here. Okay. Right, so let's go with the Halliwell glue then, because that might grab quicker. I think that's the right side. Yes, it is. Let's do this. Go with the Halliwell glue. So that'll definitely. I don't think it'll lift this off the fan. I don't think it will. Right. Okay. So have we had any more comments, Sam, that I haven't looked at? Okay. And the thing is as well, if you get the glue splodging out with the Halliwell glue, once you can rub it off. So let's just check that we've got Sally Crepes. Hey up, Sheila, a bit late joining. Working from home and being in a meeting. Looking forward to seeing your craft. And Leanne refers to that measurement as a fly's eyelash. A fly's eyelash. That's probably what it is, isn't it? That was the was that 5 15/16? That's the one, isn't it? A fly's eyelash. That's great. Yeah, it's just a little tiny thin measurement, isn't it? Right, let's get that onto there. So now we've got our green panels on. I'm just going to go around and check that those are on. Yeah, they've kind of adhered to it now. Right, so now we've got our nice big cube. So let's get some of the embossed panels on here. We're going with pads, aren't we, Sam? Yeah, we're going with pads, so it lifts it up a bit, gives it a bit more texture. And it makes it a little bit more chunky as well. So what we'll do, we don't need loads of pads on, so we'll do one there, and then we'll do one that way, and then one that way, and then one. I don't know if anybody else does this. Is it just me? Is it because I like things symmetrical? And we'll pop one across the middle. Okay, and then we'll take the, I like to do this with the pocket tool. Like that, because I don't think my nails will grab it, so let's pop that there. So we've got 4 of these panels to go on now, and then we can hopefully put a handle on there as well. Okay. Now, if you want to see the correct way to put them on, then you can just open your embossing folder and look at it and measure it up that way. I think there's the trick here when I was looking at it yesterday was that this one seems to be a little bit more shallow. So I think it might be, no, it's not that one. Or you can just go around, it's that way, I think. Oh no, it's not. It's an illusion, isn't it? That way. No, I need to do it on that side then, don't I? Probably because that's the one. So on this side here, you've got like 2 stitches, and then you've got little lumps sticking out. That's the way. So we know if we pop that on, that is going to be Is that about right? I need to just tilt it towards myself while I have a look at that. Yeah, okay, so we've got that one on. Feels really chunky now, actually. So more pads. So again, one that way, one that way, one that way, and one that way, and then one in the middle. So that'll give it a nice chunky feel. Also make it look a little bit bigger. But I was looking around when I came in, I could see there was some like crochet cotton, I think, up on the shelf there in a bowl. And I was thinking, oh, we could see what it would be like with some crochet cotton. In fact, what about this for an idea then? If you don't put a handle on, you could actually, that's the right way. You could actually put your ball of wool in here when you're doing your crochet or your knitting. You know, so that it's not rolling all over the floor. So it would fit in there, and then you could just use it from there. That's a good idea, isn't it, for a knitter and a crocheter? I would do that. Okay. Yes. Now, who was the nice lady that contacted us to say she was doing the I-cord? There we go. It was Rebecca. So Rebecca said she's just started doing I-cord. For those of you that don't know what I-cord is, that's a bit like, do you remember when, it's a bit like, I think they call it French knitting. So basically you have, if you're doing it with a little machine, well, you can do it with the machine. I have some of the machines and it's brilliant. You just put your wool in, thread it through, and then you just wind and wind and wind, and you can create some amazing things. Otherwise, people that are not aware of that might have done it when you were younger. So it used to be like a little, almost like a bobbin. My mum used to make them for us, and it would be one bobbin, sorry, with 4 nails in it, 4 little nails, and then you wrap your wool around it with your stitches. It takes, when you do it that way, the traditional way, it takes absolutely forever. But it does keep you quiet and entertained as a child. But yeah, now you can even get an electronic machine that you can do it on, and it's quite amazing. You just set it going, and you go off and make the dinner and stuff, and it just does it for you, which is really, really great. But yeah, I've made quite a lot of things with the I-cord. Maybe I'll bring one of them in when I've got another show, maybe next week or the week after. And then if you tune in, Rebecca, it might give you an idea. I actually made like a grandad with some polystyrene balls. So we've actually got a grandad made from the I-cord and the polystyrene balls. You've got a moustache and a bald head, and made him some glasses and everything. It's really fun, and we kept it on the fireplace, like on the mantelpiece, and just kept laughing at it. So I will bring it in at some point. Now then, another little thing here about this, you've got this circle in the middle here. So you could put a button in there. I think that would be really nice because it gives you that texture feel. But you can see how it looks now, because we've got the 4 sides on, so it's a real chunky box now. So the other thing I thought we could probably do, just to make it a little bit different, let me bring in some strips here. We could make it so that we can put a handle on it. So I've got a craft handle, so craft card handle, and then the strip that I used from the sheet of 12 by 12 paper would go on top of there, and then we've also got piece of the green as well, so we could put that on there too and pop that on. So let's do that. I think we'll do that. So I'm going to do the handle first of all. Let's do the handle all together, and then we can put it all on there. So we need to make sure that these are the same length. So I'm just going to trim that with my scissors, and then so Sue says she uses, oh, we've already been to there, haven't we? Yeah, my phone's just gone back up to the top. Oh, I'm jealous. That because I have seen them, and I thought, okay. I don't know if you've also seen, I don't know if you've got any of the circular knitting machines. So I've got a lot of those, got a small one, big one, medium-sized one, and I've got a motor for one of them. So like, you know, you want to make a woolly hat, you can have it done in like 15 minutes. and you can just leave it going. You know, go and put the kettle on and have a cup of tea and just leave it doing its thing and come back. And it's made a big tube, and all you do is cast off, turn it inside out, and there you've got your bobcat. Amazing, amazing what you can do these days with things. But yeah, the machines are good as well, and they work quite well with the I-cord as well, because you can kind of use them in conjunction with one another. But you may already do that, you may know that. But yeah, if you're a lover of wool like I am, then you know anything you can do with wool as well. Wool and papercraft, that's the best. Okay, so now we're going to pop this onto here, and then once we've done that, that can go in place. I didn't trim that, did I? So I'll do that now before it dries, and then I'll give that just a second to grab. And then what I thought as well, once we've got the handle on, obviously you can shake that a little bit just so that it bends nicely, like that. And then that's going to be our little handle that we can put onto the box there. So we'll do that with some red tape, I think, just on the ends, and we will then pop that in place. And then I did have some, I did get some twine out, because I thought we could possibly make a couple of little paper beads to like hang off the handle. So let's just do that. Okay, so now we've got some red liner tape on there, which is nice and strong, and that will mean we can attach the handle to the inside of the box. So let's do that. And do it that way. There we go. I've got some glue on the end of my pocket tool and it won't lift the tape up, but we'll do that. There we go. And this side, I'm going to do it that way. It seems to like to come off that way better, so there we go. And that will go inside. Now you could line it inside as well. You know, you could put some of your lovely papers in there, because I know you've all got stacks of papers, as we all have, and I'm just going to guess where the middle is. If you want to be precise, you can measure it. There we go, like that. Okay, so now we've got, that's chunkier than I thought it'd be. I'm thinking it will be like about this big, you know, but it's huge, isn't it? But you could use it as a bin. You could, I mean, you could put the handle on as well. Before you put this on, you could put the handle on with brads. So if you've got some brads, so that then you could, if you were using it for your wool, you could actually put the handle down, or you could put it on the outside and the handle would go down. So that's an option. What I did think we would do though, because I've got a couple of extra bits here, from the, let's do this. So what I've got is I've got a strip which measures. This is just a 5.5 piece strip. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut right up there to the end, and then we need to trim this bit off so it looks a little bit more even. And then with my pokey tool, what I will do as well, chop these ends off here like that, and then we're going to roll this. It might work, it might not, but we'll see. It should do. So we roll this around and just make a couple of little paper beads that we can then tie onto the twine that I'm going to put around the handle. So we just need a little bit of glue on there. We'll use the collal, because I know that'll grab quick and get it to come out. There we go. And we can just pop that around there like that. So you end up with a little kind of bead, paper bead, like that. So, and then what we can do is take some twine. So what you can do with this is you can put your cord through, and you can either, what I like to do is tie a couple of knots in the end, like this. Depends on how thick your twine is. So tie a couple, maybe even 3 knots into the end. Let's see, maybe another one, because that way then that will hold the bead on. But you can actually put some glue into the inside the bead, inside the tube, so it will actually, yeah, that's fine, that'll hold it, so it will hold it on. let's take the end off there. So then we've got a little bead on there, and then what we'll do is we'll cut that there, and we'll do let's do a yellow one. Okay, so, and again, we're just using the scraps really, so the longer you do it, the bigger the bead will be. So let's just, if I imagine, something like that, and then the corners, we need to just chop the corners off. Then again, we'll roll it round the pokey tool like that, so that you've got a couple of beads. And don't forget as well, this afternoon we'll be using more of the embossing folders. I think we've got like three bundles of embossing folders this afternoon, so on the masterclass at 2 o'clock with myself and Ben, so that will be nice. And we'll just pop a bit of glue on there again, just take that up with my finger, hopefully that will just stick onto there. That's a little bit more shaped, that bead. It's almost like, I think I've squoze it and I've made it a bit square. Let's thread that on there as well. Like that. So we've got 2 beads and they just match. Oh, let me just pop that back on there. A bit more glue, I think. That's better, I didn't put enough glue on. Just wrap that around like that. I just love making things from card. Just a bit more exciting. Okay, so now we've got 2 little beads on there. And then I would snip that bit off. I think we don't need that tiny little bit on there, as long as it sticks together with the glue. Okay. Okay, so what we'll do with this, we've not got long left. I don't know if we've got time to do the other beads, but if we haven't, what I'll do is I'll do them later, and we can actually then, I can bring it onto the show this afternoon when we've got the embossing folders on. I still need to put a bit more glue on there, I think, but hey, that's fine. So we've only got, how long have we got now left? We've got 4.5 minutes. We might be able to do that. Let's just do a quick, right, we need a green one. Oh no, we don't, need a yellow one first, because that's going to go on first. So let's just cut another little triangle. So it's just a good way of using scraps, and it just gives it a little bit more of a texture and something that just hangs off there. But all that, you know, all that idea has come from that one embossing folder, which really is, you know, crazy, isn't it? You just get one item and you go, what can I make with that? Or what does it inspire you to do? And sometimes, you know, I know crafters, we buy loads of stuff and then we put it away, and it's just like you never get to use it, or you just forget. So it might be good to do something like that, where you just, you know, get one item out every week on a crafting day and just look at that one item, whether it's a stamp, an embossed folder, and go, what can I do with this? And make something or come up with some ideas and just try it. Because I think it keeps your mind fresh, and it keeps, you know, it's always good to have ideas, because then you can share your ideas as well with other people. Okay, so we'll just do, hopefully we'll just get this last little bead on there. We're in a race against time now. And obviously you can make this, you might have noticed here, because I'm doing the beads, depending on which side of your card you cut, it's always easier to kind of bend it or roll it one way than the other. So if you've got an A4 sheet and you like bend it that way and then you bend it that way from the other side, you'll see which way is the easiest way to bend it. So if you're doing beads and things, you bear that in mind. And these are not perfect beads. I've you know, run out of time really, or I'm nearly out of time. But let's just pop those up there. Oh, we might get it done, we might do. You could put a big tag on it as well, you know, you could fill it with all kinds of things, this. So let's have a look, that's not too bad. So we've just got time to do another couple of knots. And even if you've already put the knots and the beads on both ends, you can still tie it round something, you can still tie it in a bow Let's see, I think that's not going to come off there. Let's chop that there. So please join us again this afternoon at 2 o'clock. In fact, we're on at 12, aren't we? I'm forgetting, we're on at 12 as well. So 12 o'clock would be, it would be nice to join myself and Ben then. But you can see now how we've got a little box there, and you've just got your paper beads with a bow. You can elaborate more on that, but we managed to just get there in the end. So again, if you do make a box with any of your embossing folders, you know, send some pictures in and let us know. But you can see, I think, with a button in the middle of that as well. The other option, of course, is to take your knife and cut all those little bits out and then put it onto something else. So, or just use it on, maybe on a card, make an acetate card and put that on the front, because then you'll be able to see through it, and it really would give that effect of a proper crocheted granny square, which I don't think I will ever manage to do one. I've tried many times, but I don't think I'll manage. So there you go. So do have a go at making a box like that. It's worked, and we haven't done it before, haven't made it before, so it does actually work. Those measurements, if you do need the measurements or you forget, someone says, is that Natalie? And I can't pronounce this name. Is it Altia? Yeah, that's a box I always wanted to see. Great, Sheila. So yeah, join us at 12. We're here all day now. We've got 12 till 1, which is that wake up call? And then we've got 2 till 4 with myself and Ben again, which will be masterclass using lots of different embossing folders. And we're going to be trying embossing on different things and maybe giving you a couple of ideas that you might not have tried. And then tonight, Friday night, I have 5 till 7. So thank you for joining us. We'll see you all at 12. Thank you.